That's my start button. That's my ignition. I just clip it onto the hot on the start button for ignition. And there's the engine. No loom on the wiring harness. Computer hanging there. Wires zip tied away from the flywheel. Fuel system's a ticking time bomb. But it works. Engine's running in limp mode with no tune. No oxygen sensors hooked up. No mass airflow sensor. No belt, so no accessory drives running. But it's running pretty good. The only things I did to the computer was up the idle a little bit to help with the cam, and then I changed the injector flow rate tables for the 30-pound red top Fords. But other than that, it's a stock 2002 LS1 Camaro tune with LS6 heads. Well, I should say 799 heads, which are comparable to the LS6 heads. LS6 intake, like I said, the Ford injectors. It's got I believe it's a LG Motorsports G5 X2 clone cam. I checked the numbers engraved on the end, and it is the same duration and lift as the G5 X2, but it doesn't have the G5 X2 markings. It's not engraved with G5 X2 or LG Motorsports, so I think it's a clone. But it is a comp cam. It's got for Trail Motorsports hardened push rods, stock length 7.4. It's got comp cams, double springs, good up to 660 lifts, so we're good for a while. It's actually stock SUV manifolds out of one of those that I had laying around. Plan on doing headers, haven't decided which yet. Right now it's got an automatic flex plate on it because the flywheel I had would not fit on the stand without hitting, so I threw a flex plate on it off of that 5.3 back there. I was just running it, and on rev it was going up to 70 psi on that gauge, which is awesome considering when I got this motor it had a spun bearing and one of the cylinders had eaten something and dinged up the top of the piston and everything, and the cylinder that spun the rod bearing was smacking the head, and then it sat around forever. So 7 and 8, I don't know, I'm at the back of the engine, but both of those cylinders had huge rust pits in them that I took freaking sandpaper to and Scotch-Brite pad and then honed over top of it, but it still had terrible pits. But I said screw it, I'm gonna run the engine anyways and see how it goes. So far it doesn't seem smoky or anything, so whatever. Spent $500 for the whole engine with the intake, the oil pan, the whole front drive accessories, cam, push rods and springs. So I definitely made out on the deal, even if the engine turns out to be shit. I bought a connector rod and piston used on eBay for like $25, replaced the spun rod and pressed off the piston and put it on the one that chewed up something, so that is fixed. The 7 and 8 still have pits in them, don't really care. And then I bought an AutoZone Reman crankshaft from Crankshaft Reconditioners or something like that, with a 20% discount, and it came with the rod bearings and the main bearings, all for like $200 or $225 or something like that, with after the 25 or 20% discount and free shipping, which ended up being next day from Florida for a 65-pound crank. So that was kind of amazing, to my house. So all in all, it seems to run half decent on the stand with no tune and running in limp mode and no accessories and everything like that. And this battery's garbage. It's been sitting around my house for like 2-3 years. It's amazing that this little crap charger charged it up and that it cranks the engine. It'll only crank the engine about 3 times. So that's probably not helping the running. I'm sure voltages aren't very good, but all in all, it's doing pretty well. It's probably the last time I'll run it before it goes into the car. And that still runs and drives. Actually be driving it for a couple days next week because someone's borrowing my truck. And then, alright, well, other than that, my garage is a disaster. I got a 5.3 aluminum here that I stole the heads off of and put on that. This is actually a known good engine. I heard it run, but it's like a Gen 3-4 clone, hybrid, 24 times, reluctor wheel. But it's got the new PCM and E40 PCM, which is in there with the trans control and wiring harness, and the new body style intake with the big throttle body, all that sort of junk, which I knew wasn't going to be really friendly for the swap. So I got this engine first, and then happened to come across that one when I was looking for front accessories. So this one we're going to save, because more than likely I'll mess that one up, or it'll mess itself up because it was already messed up. But hopefully it gets me enough to get the car running, moving, going for a couple months, and then when I blow that up or I get bored with it, we're going to jam that in, and probably a turbo if the rear holds together. But yeah, so swap project. My garage is still a disaster. Here's my workshop back here. It's a disaster. LT1 T56 there, but most of the parts to swap it either on top or bearings and stuff there. Bell housings over there. So we got everything to swap that over to LS1. I don't know if that's actually good or not. It does go through all the gears and spin by hand, so that's a bonus. There's the Turbo 2 rear with Unicorn Mazda 929 axles and that nonsense. And up there's the Ronin Speed swap kit, Corvette C4 drive shaft, which I've got the Mazda end is there. I don't know, there's all sorts of crap here. Here's the piston that is all chewed up out of that engine, and the rod bearing, I don't know, I pressed them back together for whatever reason. Oh, I made a video of that. And that rod bearing's, that rod's all chewed up and pitched up. I don't know, that's pretty much it for random crap. I bought this intercooler when I was in the Marine Corps, and I had 99 Galant VR4 when I was over in Japan, and I vowed to put that on it, and I never did. So I brought it home with my, personal effects, and it's been laying around here for 6 years now, and I vowed to use it. So hopefully maybe that 5.3 will end up with that intercooler on it. Other than that, it's been laying around. I got 2 different sets of LS1 manifolds. Those are the cast style, and those are the sheet metal style. There's one there, one up there. I think these ones are supposed to float better, the cast ones. And then there's the sheet metal ones. I don't know, I'm a parts hoarder. I found those for sale first, and then those came with my engine. I'll probably not use either of them, even though they do fit in the LS Swap Arc 7s, but they're not going to help me for any performance, so I don't know, I haven't decided. I might just jam it in there with those and then worry about upgrading later, because that's the easy way. And I'm getting tired of collecting parts and not building cars. There's the Luke clutch, which is, you know, argued back and forth online whether or not it's the actual LS7 clutch or not, but most people say it's the LS7 clutch that GM stamps their number on and marks up in price. But I got that for a steal for like $230. It comes with a flywheel pressure plate disc, you know, so that was a freaking steal. I actually tried to buy that 4 different times, and every time I bought it, I'd get an email a couple days later saying they're out of stock and they refunded me my money. I was getting pissed. I ended up ordering it from Parts Geek, which I thought was sketchy, but they overnighted that fucking thing to me too, which was like 60 pounds or something like that. So that was impressive too. Yeah, here's the freaking heads that came off of that LS1, and apparently it sat outside or some garbage. All the valves are rusted and shitty and all that, but I think they're only 853s, so nobody really gives a damn about them anyways. I don't know, maybe someday I'll clean them up and maybe they'll go on the Turbo 5.3 or something. If, you know, for whatever reason I decide not to use the 799s that I have. Or if I fuck them up. But other than that, I think I covered most everything. I haven't really done an update on it. I could clean up all this garbage, you know, and get all this shit out of my garage. Since I only have a 1-car garage, that shelf's got to go away. Everything, every horizontal surface in my garage collects tools when I work. Oh, like that's a freaking pile. There's more back there, you know. I'm terrible at that. Look, more shit over here. There's tools on this one, and garbage, and Subaru heads, and oh look, HP tuners. But yeah, so I gotta clean this shit out, get the car in here, rip out the rotary, and jam an LS1 in there. Hopefully that goes smooth, because I really want to drive the car before the end of the summer. Alright, that's enough time for me, I guess.